I'm 62 years old, and listen, never in my life have I wanted to hurt someone as bad as I did that morning. Let me set the scene. A white Range Rover rolls up, still ticking in the cold mountain air. Vanity plate Desrob. Yeah, let that sink in like a Bond villain sidekick. Out steps this woman with sunglasses worth more than my chainsaw. Perfect nails, perfect hair, smile like she's about to hand me a puppy. Instead, she gives me papers that feel heavier than my guilt after Thanksgiving. You have 48 hours to vacate, she says, like she's inviting me to a spa. The cabin I was born in, where my wife took her last breath 4 years ago. Yeah, I've got 48 hours. And that was the moment I decided. No yelling, no pleading, none of that. If I was going to lose, I'd make sure she'd need a GPS and a headlamp to ever find her way back out. Here's the thing. Turns out, when you own the whole forest, you don't just play by the rules, you write them. Let's back up a little. My name's Garrett Bowman, and the only thing I've ever done harder than living at 8,200 feet in Colorado is out-stubborning a mule. This cabin in Eagles Rest? My grandfather, Ezra, built it in 34 after the Dust Bowl chewed up Oklahoma and spit him out with an axe and a mule named S because, well, he'd already lost the rest. Ezra cleared these 6 acres by hand, laid every log, every stone in the fireplace. I added the south room when my wife Lynn's hip went out. She passed right here, fast, the kind of fast they say is a mercy, but if you've ever lost someone, you know it never feels that way. Now, I'm not the sort to get swept up by drama. But then came Desiree. If you've never met an HOA president with a Miami real estate ego, count your blessings. She hit Eagles Rest 18 months ago, running Summit Pines, the kind of eco-friendly luxury development where they install heated driveways and talk about nature like it's a design trend. She shows up at my door in yoga pants that cost more than my mortgage, waves an $85,000 check at me. It's an opportunity you'll love, she says. I laughed in her face. Property up here is $450,000 easy. She tries the unsightly angle. How my cabin's ruining the view for the rich folks. Door. Shut. 2 weeks later. Certified letter, Summit Pines letterhead. Apparently, my land's suddenly in their HOA. They demand architectural review, $12,000 in dues. I drive to county records. Mavis, clerk for 40 years, pulls the maps. Honey, your land is about as HOA as I am a debutante. I send them a legal go-to-hell with my deed. But then code enforcement shows up. The inspector hands me a citation, won't look me in the eye. He's an old friend, but tells me, new commissioner's pushing this. Took $15,000 from Summit Pines. It's about to get ugly. He drives off, dust on my boots. I sit there that night, dragging out Grandpa's cedar chest. Mothballs, old paper. Underneath his homestead deed, I find something I'd all but forgotten, a land patent from 1952. Department of Interior, official seal, mineral and timber rights to 340 acres. Covers my cabin and, wouldn't you know, the entire forest where Summit Pines built their million-dollar eco-homes. If you never looked into land patents, do it. If your family homesteaded pre-1976, you might own more than you think. Federal grants. Can't be overruled by much except Uncle Sam's bulldozer. So, Desiree hadn't just picked the wrong old man. She'd picked a man who owned the ground under her feet, and I wasn't about to tell her yet. Not while she was still digging her own grave. Next, she has a brand new survey delivered by courier. Fancy envelope, gold embossing. According to her, my cabin's now 15 feet inside Summit Pines' common area. They give me 90 days to move or face legal action. Signed by her and a Denver lawyer with 3 names, always a red flag. I call Vernon, my brother-in-law, civil engineer, built half the bridges in this state. He walks my land with a GPS, finds Grandpa Ezra's iron stakes 3 feet deep, exactly where they've been since '34. Their survey isn't a mistake, Garrett. It's fiction. Mavis at the county prints out 3 certified copies, notarizes each. Watch your back, she whispers. That survey company's gotten creative for 2 other developers this year, and the commissioner's wife just landed a $10,000 contract. I file a complaint. Feels like landing a punch. But I still don't play my knockout card, the land patent. I wait. Let her keep stacking up crimes. Then things get nasty. 4 tires slashed in the grocery store parking lot. Note under my wiper, move while you still can. I call the sheriff. He asks if I have enemies. Just the HOA president and the county commissioner. He nods, takes a statement. I watch my truck get hauled off, $800 for new tires, and realize this isn't about property anymore. It's about intimidation, which means I'm winning. Time to call in the cavalry. I find an environmental lawyer in Denver, Simone Beckett. She's got a record. 3 wins, 2 settlements, 0 losses. I leave a message. She calls at 7 a.m. next day, wants every scrap of evidence. I almost mention the land patent, but hold back. Let's see what she finds first, I think. Then the county commissioner, stalker, turns up the heat. 3 code violations overnight. Septic tank, gray water system, illegal timber harvest. $1,500 a day fines. I haven't broken a rule, but they don't care. I send the paperwork to Simone. She's not surprised. They're escalating because you pushed back. Now we go on offense. Public records request. Every email, every text between Stalker and Summit Pines for 2 years, plus his wife's financials. Within a week, Simone finds gold. The commissioner's wife got $15,000 from the hedge fund behind Summit Pines, consulting. Desiree's just been appointed to county zoning, too, meaning she's got the power to fast-track or block permits. This isn't just a greedy HOA president. This is a full-on racket. We need to go public, Simone says, and let them panic. But that's when someone tries to burn me out, literally. Fire department captain, old friend, calls to warn me. Prescribed burn scheduled right next to my cabin. Order came from the commissioner's office, with winds predicted to shift. Watch yourself, Garrett, he says. If they're willing to risk a fire, they'll try worse. Simone tells me to get out of town. I do. Next morning, Desiree tries to get the fire crew to burn closer to my cabin. Caught in writing, witnessed by 3 firefighters. The evidence piles up. I wait. And when brute force fails, Desiree tries to poison the well. Summit Pines drops $10,000 on the town's Founders Festival. Front page photo with the mayor. She gives an interview. We're bringing opportunity to Eagles Rest. One individual's blocking progress. No names, but everyone knows. Suddenly, the hardware store's too busy for me. The diner waitress won't make small talk. Even Kyle, kid I taught to whittle, crosses the street. Vernon drives up, finds me watching sunset, asks if I'm thinking about selling. I admit, 5 seconds I almost did. But then I remember Ezra clearing this land, Lynn's ashes on the ridge, and the look on Desiree's face when she realizes what's coming. That night, Mavis shows up with a folder. You need to see this, she says, jittery. Inside, court record from 3 other counties, same playbook, same shell companies, same pattern. Fraudulent surveys, harassment, code violations until folks sell out for pennies. Then the parcels get flipped for millions. 11 victims, 8 elderly. Why show me? I ask. Because yesterday Desiree offered me $5,000 cash to lose your grandfather's homestead records. Mavis grins, steely. I told her nobody corrupts my files. I'm in. At this point, it's not about my cabin anymore. It's about stopping them before victim number 12. I pull out the land patent, timber and mineral rights to 340 acres. Every tree, every house, every step of Summit Pines is on my land. The trap's set. Time to make them take one more step. I drive to Denver, meet Simone and her land title guy, Dr. Ortega. He studies the patent, runs a loop over the paper, and goes quiet, like he's just seen Moses part the Rockies. Mr. Bowman, this is ironclad. Federal grant, never challenged, still active. You own subsurface and timber rights to 340 acres, including 12 of their home sites. Simone's jaw drops. Why didn't you tell me? Because if I had, you'd have settled. They'd move on and do it again. I want them stopped, for everyone. So we plot. Simone files a quiet title action in federal court, builds a RICO case. My job is to look beaten, list the cabin cheap, stop fighting. Word spreads. Neighbors pity me or breathe a sigh of relief. Vernon and I map every boundary. 3D model. My land in green, Summit Pines in red, their fancy access road, the meditation garden, all of it. Allies come out of the woodwork. Whole, the inspector brings emails proving every code violation was ordered from above. Mavis finds they never filed timber permits. 80 trees cut, illegal. Dr. Tanaka from CSU assesses the timber value, $1.2 million. The California lawyer who bought in Summit Pines volunteers pro bono. Even Kyle's mom tells Summit Pines to shove it, and Kyle comes by, says he should have trusted me. Then the real circus starts. Desiree's lawyer tries to bribe me with $600,000 if I'll sell every right. Mineral, timber, water. I record the whole thing. Colorado's a one-party state. That night, someone breaks into my cabin, trashes the place, even kidnaps my old beagle, Bess. I find her, shaking, sedated, locked in an abandoned station. That's when I snap. No more patience. Simone says, 3 more days. FBI's coming. We end this. I sit with Bess, promising it's almost over. Next, the PR war. Anonymous tips to OSHA, IRS audit notice. Fake 1-star reviews for a carpentry business I never ran. Online articles call me a wealthy landowner blocking affordable housing. All fiction, but it spreads. Half the town believes it. Then Taran Moss, an investigative reporter, publishes the real story, blows up the whole scam, shows the fake LLC behind the smear, exposes the money trail from the hedge fund. Lawsuit finalized. Timber theft, fraud, conspiracy, 11 families on board. FBI confirms they've been watching Meridian Capital for securities fraud. Saturday night, Desiree calls a town hall, her victory lap. I walk in with Simone, Vernon, Hull, and 2 FBI agents. Desiree's at the podium, slides about progress, asks if I'll finally accept her generous offer. Every eye on me. I stand, thank her, then nod to Vernon. Projector fills the screen with Grandpa's land patent, 1952, official seal. This is a federal land grant. I own mineral and timber rights to 340 acres, including the land under 12 of your homes. Silence. Desiree tries to bluster. Simone stands, announces the federal lawsuit, criminal referrals. FBI blocks the exits. The room erupts. Homeowners realize they've been conned, demand answers. I offer road easements, promise not to sue them, just the ones who scammed us all. And I give Desiree 48 hours to vacate, same as she gave me. Walking into the February night, I feel a weight lift, but not joy. Justice, maybe, but not joy. Winning doesn't always feel like you imagined. It's a complicated kind of empty. 3 months later, I sit in court. Desiree gets 18 months in minimum security, $150,000 restitution, real estate ban. Commissioner Stalker gets probation, can never run for office again. Her lawyer's disbarred. Summit Pines Holdings bankrupt. Meridian settles with me for $1.85 million, cheaper than facing a jury. The homeowners win millions in damages. I use my share for conservation easements, scholarships, a workshop, a legal fund so others can fight back. The forest stays wild, the cabin stands, and the trail's called Ezra's Trail now. Ruth from the food bank teaches me fly fishing. I teach her to light fires in the rain. Sometimes her coffee is awful, but her pie's a miracle. Kyle's in college on scholarship. Vernon's mortgage is paid off. Mavis finally gets her fancy dinner in Denver. My new dog, Ranger, chases everything that moves. 18 months later, a young couple shows up. Their Oregon HOA is pulling the same stunt. Can you help, they ask. I hand them my landowner defense playbook, walk them through deeds and public records. You're not alone, I tell them. That's what they count on. Stand your ground. Ezra used to say, the land takes care of you if you take care of it. But it's more than that. Community does too, if you let it. So, let me ask you, what would you do if someone tried to steal everything your family built, lied, bribed, tried to ruin your life? At what point does fighting back become duty, not just for you, but for everyone after? Is there such a thing as too much revenge, or is justice always personal? Drop your story or your take in the comments. Let's hear about your HOA horror stories, your battles with power, where the line between right and wrong blurs. And if you know someone fighting bullies in high places, share this. Sometimes, just knowing you're not alone is enough to keep standing.